California Democrats are working on drafts of new congressional maps that voters could weigh on as soon as November, and this is all in response to the redistricting war that we're seeing out of Texas. While Texas Democrats were fleeing their state to break quorum to try and prevent a vote on the Republicans' new proposed maps, California Democrats were meeting on a Zoom call with congressional Democrats talking about what their rebuttal is going to look like to Texas Republicans. Two congressional sources who are familiar with the call tell me that Democrats have been working on drafts of new maps that are almost done. And these are maps that, unlike what's happening in Texas, voters in California would get the chance to weigh in on. Governor Gavin Newsom again told reporters today that he wants to see a November special election in which California voters can weigh in on all of this. Texas is able to do this off-cycle redistricting for a couple reasons, but one of the main ones is there the legislature, state lawmakers are in charge of redrawing the maps, which typically only happens every 10 years. In California, though, the state has an independent redistricting commission that voters approved of through a constitutional amendment on the ballot back in 2008. And Newsom says this would only allow the lawmakers to draw these lines up until 2030 when the next census happens, and then it'll go back to the independent redistricting commission. Again, voters here would most likely be asked whether to approve or deny said maps that hypothetically would be drawing California congressional Republicans out of their seats, again, in response to Texas. This legislation would have a trigger portion, meaning none of this happens if Texas does not go through with its proposed new maps. So we're talking about the balance of power in Congress, and this all has the possibility to turn into a nationwide redistricting war. We're seeing other blue states in addition. Illinois and New York have said they're also considering following California's lead in this. California state lawmakers return from their recess on August 18th, so 2 weeks from now. I think the key takeaways from this update are it doesn't sound like the state is trying to completely get rid of the Independent Redistricting Commission, just this circumstantial limited power for California legislators to redraw the congressional maps in response to Texas. Again, he said this over and over and over, the governor, none of this is going to happen if Texas does not go through with its maps. If you're new here, my name is Monica. I cover politics for ABC 7 News in the Bay Area. Also used to report in Texas. So comment any questions you all have. Those are kind of just the top lines, but this is a very complicated subject. A lot of this is developing quickly, so make sure to like and follow so you are up to date on all of the latest.